public about Winter Storm Fern and how it's still affecting our city. Obviously, the snow has stopped and conditions are improving in some areas, but we're still battling Mother Nature. It's only getting colder out there, and we know that's going to be around for a while. We're going to continue to see continued wind, drifting snow, and extremely cold temperatures for the next few days. So as you all know, we have moved to a level 1 snow emergency. Roads are hazardous and travel requires extreme caution. Just being out on the roads this morning, I saw a number of folks who saw pavement, not realizing that there are also a significant amount of black ice. I also saw, believe it or not, even in today's road conditions, a number of folks on their phones. Put your phones down, folks. It's hazardous. It's more dangerous than normal. I need you to focus on getting to where you and your family need to be safely. Today, our snow warriors are actively servicing. We've hit all of our priority 1 and priority 2 streets. We've made significant progress, and I'll let Scott or the director speak to the impact we're now having in residential areas. We have 97 snow vehicles that are currently deployed citywide. So at this point in the storm's aftermath, we'll shift from emergency access and mobility toward neighborhood level service while maintaining focus on major corridors. Crews will continue servicing all 3 priority levels. Last night, we began surging resources into residential streets. We're paying special attention to arterial roads and now focusing on residential, and we will be going full force there today. Last night, our crews were able to begin trucking snow out of downtown Columbus. As I said, this is a bit unprecedented. We haven't done this since 2008. We were able to do this while putting robust resources into plowing our neighborhood streets, in large part because of a great partnership with the County Engineer Fowler, who is partnering with the city to do that. So we were able to surge into neighborhoods and haul snow out of downtown at the same time. This is really necessary because in the downtown central business district, we had plowed a lot of snow into the middle lanes. We're using dump trucks to truck that snow out of downtown so we can maintain visibility and keep the sidewalks clear, and really appreciate County Engineer Fowler and his team's support. So here's what Columbus residents need to know today. We are not in the clear yet. We ask for patience and caution. Cold temperatures continue to make conditions dangerous, especially for anyone outside for extended periods. The city is coordinating closely with police, fire, hospitals, and emergency responders to provide street access where it's needed most. CODA service continues on its regular weekday schedule, and fares remain waived today. Refuse and recycling could be placed at the curb as normal. We want folks to know that we're continuing to pick up trash and recycling every day. Crews will return if for whatever reason service is delayed. And Rumpke is running a day behind because they did not collect yesterday, although we did collect refuse. And just another reminder, particularly as these temperatures to continue to get colder. The hotline number of the Community Shelter Board, if you run into any of our neighbors who are experiencing homelessness, this is a very, very dangerous time for people to be outside. Please call 614-274-7000. We have cleared space in our warming centers and our shelters. This is a loving and compassionate and caring community. The last thing we want is our neighbors out in these elements and putting themselves at risk. So with that, I'll turn things over for some more detail from Director Scacco and our Chief Snow Warrior, Scott Torba.
All right. Thank you, Mayor, and as always, thank you for that support you've been giving us through this entire snowstorm. We are grinding through. I think the big message today is that we are surging, starting last night, into our neighborhoods. So last night into today, we are surging into the neighborhoods. I do want to hit the message one more time with the mayor, that the mayor had spoke about with downtown, and reinforce the fact that we are not taking city plows off of the neighborhood streets and putting them into downtown. We are relying on our great partner over at the Franklin County Engineer's Office to help us. So if you look at some of that footage, it was all county engineer trucks being downtown and really helping to get all of that snow in downtown. When you have 12 inches piled up into downtown, we need people downtown working, we need people down there being able to get to businesses and walking on sidewalks, and we need to get that snow out of downtown. So very much, I just want to express my gratitude to the County Engineer's Office that have been a huge help and really stepped up in this snowstorm to help us out. Also, I really want to thank my other city departments. They've helped with the auxiliary staff, sending crews, and just helping to really augment that, the efforts that we're trying to make, and our progress has been greatly assisted with that help. And I want to thank the County Engineer's Office and everyone who has helped to step up to really help us get through this once in 2 decade storm that we're experiencing. I'm going to turn it over to Scott Torville, our Chief Snow Warrior. He's got all the great details for you, and we'll answer some questions afterwards.
Thanks, Director. Thanks, Mayor. Good morning. Currently, we, as indicated, we are servicing with nearly 100 vehicles. The vast majority of those have been directed to our neighborhoods to ensure that we finish our Priority 2 collector streets and continue the surge into our Priority 3 local roads. The handful of collectors that need finished, at least in terms of getting them fully opened, are the ones that we've already serviced. But again, that was at 3 a.m., 6 a.m., 9 a.m. Sunday morning, and then obviously we had snowfall throughout the day Sunday, so they did get covered over with a moderate amount of snow. I am happy to report that as of just about a half an hour ago, we have serviced over 65% of our Priority 3 streets. If you remember yesterday, we were at less than 10, so that's an increase of over 50% in just the last 24 hours. And that's in large part due to the surge that began with last night's evening shift just after dinner time. Again, I would be remiss if we did not continue to thank the excellent partners that have really stepped up for this historic event. We have staff coming to us to serve all of us in our residential communities, from Rec and Parks, Building and Zoning, Neighborhoods, Columbus Water and Power, Development, as well as a number of staff from inside public service who are not typically snow warriors and are typically doing more office-based jobs. Additionally, right beside our side, from not only before the storm started, but throughout all this, has been our fleet team. This work, especially with this kind of heavy snow, is very, very hard on equipment, and our fleet men and women have been by our side. They're actually stationed in one of our garages to assist with faster response to getting and keeping this equipment on the road. And then finally, County Engineer Adam Fowler and his team over there, Matt and Brad and their crews, they have been super helpful. We were able to get an extra 15 to 20 trucks, primarily on the arterial roads, to help service those last night from them, in addition to all of the staff and equipment that they've spent hauling. I will provide more details on hauling in a minute, but first, I do want to remind everyone about our level of service for our local roadways are treated plow only, pass in, pass out. These streets are not going to get plowed curb to curb as they carry lower volumes and speeds of traffic. They will be passable, they will not be perfect. You will be able to drive on them, you will be able to get through, but if there is an oncoming vehicle, you may need to pull slightly aside to make sure that you can pass. But again, everyone will ultimately be able to get through as we finish up about the last 35% of service. As we do this work, our plows are pushing deep snow on these streets to make them passable. We do understand that this deep snow getting pushed to the side does impact parked cars and driveways. Unfortunately, with this large amount of snow, these impacts are simply unavoidable. So please be aware of that. And again, we are focused on providing passable conditions in the travel lane. If or when you shovel your driveway, clearing the area to the right of the drive as you look at your house, or the left as you look out from your house to the street, can and will help reduce the amount of snow on the plow blade as it passes your drive, to reduce that impact on your driveway. Our social media team here at DPS is going to be getting some images up and some graphics to kind of help explain that and give residents some tips to better understand that, to reduce that impact from the plow going through your neighborhood. As our current goal is to ensure that all streets, our arterial Priority 1 roadways, our collector Priority 2 roadways, and our local Priority 3 roadways are passable. Once that has been accomplished, we will then work to finish additional cleanup on these streets, primarily the arterial and collector streets. This additional effort is going to focus on getting full width plowing, as many roadways are passable but not fully open, and there are reduced lane widths or turn lanes snow piled up in intersections that do make turning movements a little bit more challenging. Please do note with today's forecast calling for extra flurries and snow showers, we may need to divert a few extra trucks back to those arterial streets should they become covered over with some of that light snow that may come in today. Excuse me. In regards to our downtown hauling operations, we have been working with the county engineer's office to haul snow. As Director Scacco mentioned, there are no city plow trucks being diverted from local roadways to do that effort. So far, we estimate we've hauled out about 30 to 35% of the necessary snow out of the downtown area. We are going to continue to work around the clock, and we anticipate this operation taking another 36 to 48 hours. Motorists in this area should be aware of rolling closures and lane restrictions, particularly in and around the immediate vicinity of those crews doing that work. So please be patient and drive with caution if you are in that area while those operations are ongoing. In regards to hauling, our goal is not to remove 100% of the snow, but simply to remove enough of it that what remains won't significantly impact that area. Most parking spaces are anticipated to be available. Most or all the travel lanes will be open. Sidewalks will not be completely blocked by all the spillover from clearing the roadways. This hauling decision was driven by both the large amounts of snow and the long-term cold temps that will prevent any significant melting. So the snow is going to be with us for a while. Both of those factors have and will continue to play a major role in our ongoing response. Reminder that level of snow not only pushed us into a level 3 snow emergency Sunday, but also continues to hamper these efforts to clear these roadways. It requires more passes to push back all of these piles and ultimately get all of these lanes open. The cold temperatures reduce the effectiveness of our materials, requiring more time and material to melt away any snowpack. Please know our crews continue to work around the clock to facilitate this cleanup. As mentioned, we are going to continue to work on clearing any curb lanes, shoulders, turn lanes, intersections, and other such related roadways to fully restore the functionality of the travel network. Long term, we'll also start to transition into our bike lanes, our protected bike lanes, over the next 3 to 4 to 5 days as we finally get a handle on all the other snow in the roadways. Again, these cold temps are really a concern, and this pushback effort is required because it's not going to melt. We need to be prepared in the event that we do get additional snow before all this melts. At this time, we have moved to a level 1 snow emergency per the Franklin County Sheriff. Side streets remain impacted. Main roads are improving, but conditions are very inconsistent. So if you are out and about, please be aware that you may be on a section of roadway that is good, and then all of a sudden it is snow covered, or there's black ice, or it is slippery, or the lane widths change, or you have to shift or merge. So again, please continue to be aware of that the roadway conditions, they are very passable, but they are also inconsistent. So do drive with caution. Please continue to check on your neighbors, not only with the heavy cold, or excuse me, the heavy snow, but also the extreme cold. Do not shovel or plow snow in the streets. It causes hazards, it impacts our response, it's dangerous, and it's illegal. So when you are shoveling, please keep that snow off the streets. Also, a couple of reminders or points of emphasis, things to be aware of from our friends at the fire department. If there's a fire hydrant near your house, please consider shoveling that out. God forbid there need to be a response. That makes it easier for those men and women to access that hydrant to keep all of us safe. As well as I saw some media yesterday that indicated a reminder to clear out any furnace vents to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning in your home. This deep snow and these high winds can and will cause drifting to block that, so something else is a safety message to be aware of. And then finally, do not crowd the plow. We had another major accident yesterday where one of our plows was struck. That driver is now unable to work due to injury, and that truck is now out of service. So again, please be patient, please be careful, do not crowd these vehicles, especially as they are on the arterial roadways. They're now going to be working in the turn lanes, pushing those intersections back. So they're going to be making some unusual movements in those intersections. So again, as you come up upon those vehicles, give yourself the extra 5 seconds, take your time, pay attention, and navigate through that area safely. With that, I think that concludes my remarks. I'll turn it back to Director Scacco or
I
the
just
mayor.
had one more thing. I did want to publicly thank Scott and his entire team. They are giving absolutely everything they have to get these streets safe and passable for the traveling public here in Columbus. And being in a snowplow for 12 hours is tough. Being in a snowplow 12 hours over and over, day after day, is really tough. And I just want to publicly thank the entire team for their dedication to our residents.
Scott, I think This is a separate accident, right? You're talking about a different accident, not one.
Yes, separate individual driving his plow truck, actually going from one residential area to a different residential area, was on the main road and moving into another lane to make a turn maneuver. A vehicle approaching from behind struck him from behind and was at a significant enough impact that it has damaged the truck, and that driver is now off on injury leave for a day or two. It should be back soon, but again, that's another truck down, that's another truck not on the road, another driver injured just because someone was in a little bit of a hurry.
And I guess this is one of those, another one where we're asking the Snow Warriors and all these teams, we need everybody else to step up too, right? And I appreciate everybody's taking the warning and staying home this weekend. They're urging Governor DeWine and myself and others. But folks, we are not out of this. And we need folks to slow down, get off your phones, don't crowd the plow, and you have a role to play in this. I also would encourage, now that this is the second day off for a lot of schools, is to challenge our young people. If you have shovels available, get out in your neighborhoods and go check on your neighbors, particularly your seniors. Help clear their sidewalks, see if they need anything. We are all part of this. We're all part of Team Columbus, but just because the snow has stopped and we're seeing some progress out there, we need drivers to really step up their responsibility, protect our snow warriors, and to make sure that we have as many resources as possible in our neighborhoods clearing those streets.
Mayor, how frustrating is it for you to know that 2 of your city employees have been injured trying to keep all of us safe on the roads?
It is frustrating, but I also need to acknowledge that the overwhelming majority of folks stayed at home this weekend, are doing the right thing, are making sure that they're supporting our efforts as a team. But when you hear about this senseless accidents and injuries to our folks who are away from their families, out here working around the clock to make it safer for all of us, we can do better.
Now that you guys are moving to the residential areas, there are a lot of places, they don't have driveways, they don't have street parking, but is there anything you suggest for people to do to make it easier to avoid potential hazards for plow drivers or people who are out there, or your cars?
Yeah. Again, get those vehicles as close to the curb as humanly possible. Just every extra, really, couple of inches helps. Again, they're large vehicles. Our operators are incredibly skilled. This is actually reflective of the training we go through in the fall, is navigating these tight spaces. But again, that slows them down, that makes them more efficient. And there's a ton of volume of snow. It's got to have, thank you. There's a ton of snow. It's got to have a volume of somewhere to go. And so again, anything we can do to get these vehicles as far tight to the curb as possible, if they're unable to get off the road, obviously that would be preferred, but as tight to the curb as possible, that would be the biggest help.
Scott, just because you were just talking about the volume of snow, I was at Floyd Park this morning. How much snow do you think is in that pile?
Enough to make a really big snowman?
If you can, we'd love to know if you got an estimate at some point.
I don't have that information handy. We can make an estimate, and again, I would reiterate that's probably 30 to 35% of what will ultimately be there as we continue to haul out of the downtown. And again, that's just such a critical operation because it's not going to melt, and so we don't know what the weather holds a week and a half, 2 weeks from now. If we have another event, whether it's 2 to 3 inches or more, we've got to have a place to put the snow on the roads, and so in the downtown area, there just isn't that kind of real estate.
Maybe we should shoot Frozen 3 there, Tom. What do you think?
We'll have a pool. Well, guess how much it is.
With these freezing temperatures and, it's not going away anytime soon, I mean, what are your concerns moving forward? We did just get put down to a level 1, but that doesn't mean that people shouldn't be heeding warnings, being careful. So what are your concerns as these temperatures continue to drop?
Well, I think the driving conditions, and I've even noticed being on the roads the last couple of days, they change. In some places you see pavement, and so you think everything is fine and relatively back to normal, but there's a significant amount of ice, and black ice in particular is very dangerous. And I think based on having temperatures this low for this long period of time, to Scott and the director's points, a lot of the stuff that we traditionally use isn't as effective when it's this cold for this long period of time. So just continuing, we are under a level 1. People should travel with extreme caution, slow down, and make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of time to get to wherever you need to be. We knew ultimately kids belong in school and moms and dads belong at work. And we are doing everything we can to put us in a position to get back to some sense of normalcy. But I will remind folks, it's only been about 48 hours. And so we still have work to do, and we are not going to go back to normal in the next 24 hours. We got to still continue to work at this.
Scott or the mayor, for those cars, I know you mentioned get as close to the curb as possible, but at some point in time, are you going to ask people just to move your cars off the streets so your crews can do the work? Because there's a lot of cars on streets that just completely block the way. There's no way Plow can get through.
Yeah, I mean, anything that anyone can do, as the mayor said, to kind of partner with us. So anything that a resident can do, that our community do, to get those cars off the streets just makes everything easier. Again, our trucks can maneuver better, they can get through a little bit quicker, and that adds up over 2,200 miles of priority 3 local streets alone. And again, that gives space for that snow to go, and so that we can kind of continue to get through. So anything people can do to get off the street is going to be greatly appreciated.
And we know that's going to be harder in some of our older neighborhoods, right? Where there is only, on-street parking. But particularly since this surge is taking place, if folks can find a way to move their vehicles off of these areas and residential areas, it would be really helpful and will make a difference, not just for the next 24 hours, but looking at these temperatures for the next week to 10 days.
Do you know if CPD is still enforcing the 72-hour rule that after 72 hours you have to move your vehicle? Because there's a lot of snow-piled cars on the sides of the roads and clearly haven't been moved in days.
I'd have to check. I don't know. I don't want to give you bad information.
Scott, or whoever can answer this, when do you expect to reach a pass on 100% of all streets, including the Tier 3 roads?
I would anticipate sometime within the next 24 hours, if not sooner. Again, we anticipate this surge continuing all day today and hopefully overnight. And so it's a little harder to get auxiliary staff overnight, but again, we expect our numbers to remain elevated throughout the next 24 hours. Considering that we did 50% of the priority 3s in just the last 24 hours, but the surge has really only been going on since about 7 or 8 o'clock last night. I don't want to tell you an exact time or tell you it's going to be real soon, but we're really, really confident that over the next 12 to 24 hours, all of those streets will be addressed.
And again, it's important to reinforce, Jordan, serviced, not completed, right? So we know that regardless of the priority within the system, it is going to take several passes. And again, passable, not perfect, and we still have a lot of work to do.
I think I'll add, residents can look for the blade on the sideway. When cars are on that road and driving and kind of pushing it back up, one way that they can clearly tell that the plow's been there is just kind of looking at the side of the road. There's the plow marks with the blade. So, a lot of times we get those comments, you haven't been on our street, you haven't been on our street. We have. Other people have been on your street too, and they've kind of slushed it back up, but we have been there.
We've spoken several times about the hard work of the plow drivers. Can you just say, how are they doing? I mean, it had to have been a long 48 hours for them. So they're all people.
They are. Our street maintenance warriors are also some of the toughest sons of guns around, and they're working their tails off. They are true public servants at heart, and so they're tired, but again, they're tough. They're grinders, and we're going to get through this. I'll comment. I'm aware of an auxiliary driver that actually slept in the Coleman building one night so he could make it to work. We have staff members who are getting hotel rooms. We have staff members who are bunking up and staying with friends or family or each other to ensure that they can get back, because all of the counties around here, whether they live in Franklin County or surrounding county, we're under level 3. And so that, to me, that just speaks to the level of dedication that these men and women have to serve our community.
We have someone sleeping on an air mattress at the TMC. So,
How many city plows are operating at a given time, and how many are not working because of any lack of staff?
Our available fleet is probably about 130 trucks. And again, for most of this event, we've had between 90 and 115 trucks out. A little behind the peak curtains operationally, you don't want to put all your trucks out because, again, this work is so hard. Now a truck breaks down, and now you have someone sitting there. So we always try to keep a couple of spares back so that in the event the truck goes down, we don't have someone just sitting around waiting for whether it's a minor repair or a major repair, right? So the fact that we've regularly had on the low end 85 to 90 trucks out since kickoff on Saturday night through right now, and in many cases 100 or 100 and more, 110, that's a really good number for us.
Sky, can you speak to how cold weather does affect the equipment?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots. Obviously, it's just harder on the equipment. I'll tell you, your little things like your washer fluid doesn't work as well, and the snow blows up on your windshield. Obviously, it's hard. It freezes to the windshield wipers, and so little things like that. And then the wiper blades get cut, and then you got to pull your truck over for 10 minutes to get a new wiper blade. So just little things like that, just really kind of provide wear and tear on these vehicles. And again, in the short term, it's 10 minutes for one driver, but multiply that for the fact that it just stopped snowing 36 hours ago, yet we've already been working for whatever, 60, 70 hours. It kind of adds up.
Mayor, do you think we'll have to re-up money for private contractors?
Well, I've said to the director, Scott, anybody else, we're going to do whatever it takes. And so if we need additional resources, whether for private contractors, overtime, like I said, the most important thing is for us to get kiddos back in school and moms and dads back to work, and to get one of America's fastest growing economies running at full speed. But we got to do it thoughtfully, carefully, and safely. But we're going to put whatever resources are necessary to get that done.
Speaking of schools, I got asked the same question I've asked last few days in a row. Have you talked to Dr. Chapman this morning?
Not today, but we talk just about every day. But we also, it's a difficult and complex decision for her to make, and I respect, she and her team and the decision they need to make. These are very dangerous temperatures to have little ones standing at bus stops. We have, if you heard here today, we are not completely done with all the residential areas, and we know that there are lots of school buses that got to go to, deep into neighborhoods all over this city. But we're going to continue to do everything we can on our end of things to help her and her team feel confident. But we have complete respect, understanding of the decision that she and other superintendents have to make to keep kids safe.
If I may, one safety message I was just reminded of. I've observed this, we've heard this complaint, and now I'm being told that CPD is asking us to mention this as well. If and when you do leave, clean your car off. Please, it is incredibly dangerous, and when you don't, all that snow goes somewhere, well, it goes back on the roads, right? And then that makes it unsafe for everyone else, that makes more work for us. So please, as you're getting your car out, or you're making that trip to wherever you need to go, take the extra 2 minutes, brush that car off, please, and again, keep that snow, brush it off under the grass or in the tree lawn or whatever, keep that snow off the road to keep yourself safer and everyone else around you safer.
Thanks, everybody.